Welcome back. This is the men's individual competition. I'm Justin Judkins alongside Games veteran Josh Everett. This is the track triplet, Josh. So exciting because this is the heat number 4 of 4. This is the final heat, and these are the best athletes that will compete in the men's ball toss. And let me explain that they will be sitting in the GHD. The athletes will reach down, grab a 4-pound medicine ball, sit up as violently as possible, and throw that ball as far as possible. They're going to try to do that as many times as they can in 20 seconds. And there is the world's fittest man, Rich Froning, getting set to start his ball toss event.
Yeah, and how this event is scored is there's zones on the field. The further you throw the ball, get it into the next zone, the more points that you get. So you want to get as many balls on the field as possible, as far as possible, to get as many points as you can in the med ball toss.
A good look at their lane assignments. Some athletes to look out for: Ben Smith, Rich Froning Jr., Kyle Kasperbauer, and Miko Arompa.
Yeah, Kyle Kasperbauer right now our overall leader, kind of a dark horse coming through. I wouldn't have expected him maybe even to be in this heat, let alone in the overall lead. We'll see if he can maintain this, and he's a guy that looks like he could certainly be on the podium at the end of Sunday.
And there's Scott Panchek as he's getting set to start his ball toss. They've got 20 seconds to throw as many balls as they can. A good look down the line as those athletes are on the GHD apparatus.
Now they must throw and then touch the pad before they can go back and pick up their next medicine ball. Scott Panchek having a little bit of trouble.
Then they can reach down and grab it. And their 20 seconds is up. And the ball slipped out of his hands a few times. So a frustrated Scott Panchek as that event did not go the way that he wanted it to.
Yeah, and key there was getting as many of those medicine balls onto the field as they could, because every ball out there is going to earn you points. So it may not be advantageous to focus on throwing far as it is to be rapid fire to get a lot of points on the field there.
Okay, that was the first sub-heat of heat number 4. So now we're going to do one more of the ball toss. Then these athletes are going to complete, start in on well, there's Rich Froning Jr. He's contemplating how he's going to strategize and get those balls. Kyle Kasperbauer. Oh, excuse me, that's Numi Katrinarsson from Iceland.
So Numi actually got carted off after the second event, Pendleton 2, disorientation, not sure what was going on, but ended up in the hospital and made it back just in time to drop in the last heat of the obstacle course race to remain in this competition. So whatever went wrong Wednesday, he looks like he's recovered and ready to go.
And I have to tell you, my respect for that athlete went through the roof when I was told that the doctors told him, advised him not to go back to the competition. And he says, hey, this is the 2012 Reebok CrossFit Games. I'm going to do it anyway.
Traveled across the world, $250,000 on the line, and he was in first place at the time. I would have got my butt on that obstacle course as well.
That's exactly right. Rich Froning Jr. did win the games last year, and so he's a man that's used to standing on the podium, at least knows what it feels like, wants to get back there again.
Defending champ, a lot of pressure, but his personality and attitude, that just rolls right off his back.
Numi Katrinarsson and Rich Froning right next to each other. Rich grabbing the yellow balls, throwing them as many times as he can, as far as he can. And a good look is those balls, like you say, you want to rack up as many points as you can, and you do that by having more balls rather than throwing a few farther.
Great shot of the placement there. We can see some people go further, some people shorter.
We're going to give the judges a moment just to clean, the volunteers a moment to clean off the balls off of the field. These athletes will be taken to the other side of the track where they will start the track triplet. And the track triplet consists of 3 rounds for time, 8 split snatch. They have to alternate their legs on the split. They're going to be lifting 115 pounds. Then they'll go to the pull-up bar. They will complete 7 bar muscle-ups, run once around the track, which is 400 meters. They have to do that 3 times as fast as they can.
Again, a mixed modality workout here. We have a gymnastics element in the muscle-ups, a weightlifting movement in the snatch, and a monostructural movement, or what's known as traditionally as cardio, with the run. So these athletes need to be good in all of those areas. You can't just be a strong guy. You can't be just good with your body weight, which usually favors little guys, or have a good running, rowing, biking. You've got to be able to do everything, and not only singularly, but we put them in combination to test these athletes' fitness.
Now keep in time, the time to beat is 8 minutes and 3 seconds, set in the third heat by Daniel Tominski. We're in the fourth and final heat. These athletes are competing for the title of the world's fittest.
And speaking of that time to beat, Justin, huge advantage to go in the fourth heat. These guys have earned that advantage as the leaders, points-wise, get put in the later heat. So it pays to be a winner here, as you know the marks are set and you know what you have to beat to get your points and move up in the standings.
Great point as the athletes start in on their first set of 8 split snatches. You'll notice they've got judges right next to them. The judges are making sure that they meet the standards. And explain the standards briefly, Josh.
So barbell's got to go from the ground to locked out overhead. Feet start together in a line, finish in a line, but they must receive the barbell in a split, which is a semi-lunge position. Both feet must move. Now in the bar muscle up, you start below the barbell. You essentially do a pull-up and then finish with the dip and finish with arms locked out above the barbell.
All of the athletes are on the pull-up bar doing their bar muscle-ups, and we're looking for the first athletes to start coming off the bar. It looks like, it's just too hard to tell at this point, but I see Gabe Subry there in number 3. It looks like our leader currently,
Kenny Leverage.
Kenny Leverage, yeah. I've been very impressed with that young man over the course of the last few days.
Super athletic, and I was kind of worried about him once he got to the weightlifting. I saw Kenny about 2 weeks ago. He had just strained his lower back and was actually unable to train the last couple weeks leading up to the games, at least on weightlifting movements. Looked like he handled those snatches early on here, which does utilize the low back quite a bit on that pull from the floor to get that weight overhead. Looks to be okay, and obviously is sitting in 3rd place overall and 1st place currently in this heat.
There's Kenny Leverage, number 46, as he leads the pack. Patrick Burke in 2nd place, right behind him, former Marine in Patrick Burke. Kenny Leverage giving a little thumbs up sign as he completes round number 1. They have to do 3 rounds, 4 time, 8 split snatch with 115 pounds, 7 bar muscle ups, and then run 400 meters.
No, Pat Burke, Games veteran, has been here time after time after time and isn't a CrossFit celebrity necessarily. There's nothing he does that stands out and wows you, but every time you look over your shoulder, he's right there. It doesn't matter what type of event he is. He's very, very well-rounded, and obviously is in a position to end up on the podium here, being in this last heat and doing well here.
And Kenny Leverage and Pat Burke are ahead of the rest of the pack. Kenny Leverage approaching the barbells for his 2nd set of 8 split snatches. And Kenny's another athlete that has just impressed me with his balance among the different types of movements. So he's quite adept at weightlifting movements, quite adept at gymnastics movements, and it looks like he was very comfortable on the run too. As
these athletes cycle through here. Again, 115 pounds for these athletes, super lightweight. But that lightweight comes with a cost. You can move it fast, which has a metabolic cost. Shoots up your heart rate. Pat Burke making quick work of his snatches and back to the muscle ups. Now, same thing with the muscle ups. Very high metabolic demand. Gets your heart rates up. Taxes you cardiovascularly. So 1 rep, not bad. String 7 together right after snatches and then go into a run. That's a whole other ball game.
And Kyle Kasperbauer not taking the time to chalk up his hands. He's got gloves on, just jumped right onto the bar for his 7 bar muscle-ups. Actually jumped on the bar ahead of Pat Burke. So we saw a little bit of a lead.
Just misses one of his muscle-ups. That is huge. You cannot afford to break up reps.
No, you cannot take that time. There's Matt Chan, slightly ahead of Pat Burke, right behind him, Scott Panchek, and then right behind Scott Panchek is number 11, and that's Rich Froning, who won last year's Reebok CrossFit Games.
Rich Froning, defending champ. We've never had a repeat champion. No backs-to-backs. We've never had someone win twice. Can Rich Froning be that first guy to break through? I think it's a testament to the type of sport CrossFit is, and that we test you in so many areas that no one's ever been able to win twice.
And Froning right now is making a move. He's slightly behind leader Matt Chan. Matt Chan from Denver, Colorado. He owns CrossFit Verve, an affiliate there in Denver, Colorado.
Now, and how impressive is Matt Chan right now? He's both one of our older and heavier competitors. So 2 things in this particular event that don't bode well for you.
But he is quite an Olympic lifter and has actually competed in Olympic lifting competitions.
Now, very experienced in Matt Chan. I know a lot of these guys' training programs. Matt Chan trains smarter than probably 99% of CrossFitters, whether it's CrossFit Games competitors or just the general CrossFit athlete that's every day in their box using this for fitness. Very smart when it comes to his training program, and that shows off in his performance.
So there are your top 3 men individual competitors in heat number 4. That's Matt Chan in first place, Patrick Burke in second place, and Rich Froning in third as they approach their final set of barbells for 8 split snatches. That's 115 pounds. They're taking it from ground to overhead. They've got to lock it out, and their feet have to be separated.
You know, what we're going to see here is who paced correctly. All of these athletes are capable of going unbroken. Who paced the first 2 rounds correctly, who went out too fast, and who can concentrate, hit the standards, and not have any reps taken away. That's who's going to end up on top on this event.
Another key is who takes the time and rests too long. Who can minimize the rest period? Matt Chan, first one done with the split snatches, first one onto the bars for those bar muscle ups. And there's Rich Froning as he's starting in on his 7 reps of bar muscle ups. Matt Chan, Rich Froning almost going rep for rep on the bar muscle ups. Matt Chan started the muscle ups first. We're going to see if Rich Froning Jr., the man on the right, we'll see if he can pass Matt Chan.
Now, if it comes down to the run, Rich Froning Jr. passed Matt Chan on the Pendleton 2 run 2 days ago. We know that he can run Mr. Chan down, and I suspect he's going to do that.
6 minutes, 55 seconds into this workout. The time to beat, 8 minutes, 3 seconds. And these athletes have a couple minutes in order to do that. So I think it's safe to say at this point that either Matt Chan or Rich Froning Jr. would be able to beat Daniel Tominski's time of 8 minutes and 3 seconds. There you see a big clock.
I don't know. That's going to be close. They've still got 300 and some meters to go. They're going to have to turn it on if they're going to hit that time.
Well, you're exactly right.
Matt Chan looks to be laboring a little bit. I think Rich is going to get him. Now, Rich needs to not be concerned with Matt necessarily and start working on these times. I don't think he can catch Daniel Tominski for first place overall, but I believe he can run down Chris Spieler's second place time of 8:14.
And it looks like he's doing that now as he's passing Matt Chan. So they're going, they're side by side. Looks like Rich has a slight lead over Matt, but they're pretty much neck and neck. And I'll tell you this, Matt I know is a competitor, as is Rich Froning, and so I know that both men are going to make a foot race out of this, and it's going to be exciting when it comes right down to it. We'll see if Matt has anything left in the tank to catch Rich Froning. Rich Froning currently in the lead. He's starting to extend that lead. Man, the crowd's getting into it. Matt, focused look on his face, giving him everything he's got. Rich takes a second to look over his left shoulder, his right shoulder, starting to lengthen his stride. And Matt Chan going as fast as he possibly can, but cannot catch Rich Froning.
And it looks like unofficially that Spieler and Holmberg will hold on to second and third. So Tominski, Spieler, Holmberg hold on to those first 3 places. And it looks like Rich maybe 4th overall.
But I'll tell you this, you know, Josh, these athletes don't have to win every single event. They just have to do well on every event. You can't have one where you're destroyed or you dropped out of it with the competition this needed. But they don't have to win this event. They just have to do really, really well. And we're seeing Rich Froning do that. We're seeing Matt Chan do that too.
And I'm wondering here, where is Kyle Kasperbauer? He was first heading into this event. He needs to be crossing this finish line if he wants to maintain that lead. Again, he doesn't have to win. He doesn't even have to get in the top 10. And here's a race. Kenny Leverich and Kasperbauer cross at about the same time. Now, Kenny had a big lead after that first round. Again, new to the games, maybe didn't understand the pacing, got a little over-eager, bit off more than he could chew on that first round, and it cost him as he dropped back.
And remember, these athletes, they have not had time to work on this workout. This isn't a workout that they typically do day in and day out. This is something that they were told about just days before the CrossFit Games started. So they haven't had time to practice it and figure out where they need to pace, where they need to go fast, where they can slow down. It's jump in and do it. You've got to adapt on the fly, as we've seen some of the more experienced athletes like Rich Froning like Daniel Tominski and like Matt Chan, they're able to tell where they need to pick up the pace as they're doing the work. They don't have to necessarily do the workout ahead of time in order to figure that out.
Surprising finish well as Ben Smith finishes towards the back of the pack here. One of the favorites to win, Pat Sherwood's pick to win the overall event.
There are your top 3 men for heat number 4, the final heat. Rich Froning coming in, doing exactly what he needed to do. He didn't have a lead at any time until the very, very end. Let's go back and watch some of the action now. And there's a good look at the ball toss. That 4-pound medicine ball. They're trying to throw as many of those balls as they can in 20 seconds. There's Miko Arumpa as he's grabbing those yellow medicine balls. And a good look at the beginning of the track triplet event. Pat Burke in the red shorts grabbing the bar. He's got to do 8 split snatches. And Pat Burke was hanging in right at the very, very front of the pack at the beginning of the workout, but it looked like he faded as time went on.
Yeah, faded just a bit, but still finished really well in 8 minutes and 40 seconds. Kenny Leverage started out the front of the pack. Looked like he was feeling good in round 1, but he faded towards the end there.
Rich Froning, your heat winner, as he's doing his split snatches, and then gets on the bar and starts in on his final set of bar muscle-ups. He had to do 7 of them.
What the folks at home need to understand is that combination of being a strong weightlifter and good at gymnastics, pretty rare in other sports. Most other sports don't have that type of ability to go back and forth between those two very different type of workouts. CrossFitters have that ability, and really to us that is fitness, not being the greatest in any one area, but being good in all areas.
That wraps it up for men's track triplet event of the men's individual competition. We'll be back with more action later.